Hello guys, now that the inside of the cockpit is done, or the rest will be done after the outside will be done, because mounting the pedal set and the steering wheel will be on the last part when the cockpit will be back inside the house, because I don't want to put electronic in here like the wheelbase, the servo base, and block the inlet with some dust or foam or anything. So reason why I will install all the controls inside when everything will be done. But now that the inside is at this stage, I'm ready to start working on the outside. As you can see behind me, I have 2-inch thick styrofoam sheet. It's insulation panel. It's easy to sculpt, so it will be the best material to sculpt the side pod on the cockpit. So today my goal is to stick as much foam as possible on the outside of the cockpit, and to do this I will use the PL300. It's a glue that the purpose is to stick foam together or to something, and it says on the tube that it won't melt the foam. So without wasting any more of your time, let's jump to today's job right after this message. Our Rick Stuff store is finally open, so go on spreadshirt.ca today to save as much as 15% on your Rick Stuff gear and accessories. Type Rick Stuff in the search bar and you will be redirected directly on our store page, where you'll find everything you need, whether it is for man, woman, kids, or even dog accessories. Quick update guys before I start. I decided to cut the higher section here because I will make a headrest from foam and fiberglass, look like a real one, a real headrest from an F1 car. I will do my best to achieve it anyway. So let's start sticking some foam on my cockpit. The first layer of foam is now stick to the body or the cockpit. And now I'm getting ready to pour some expandable foam or insulation foam in that gap, so when I will carve the shape of the cockpit or the side pod, I won't have a hole in the middle of my carving and it will be filled up with that foam. I've done both sides. As you can see, the right side has a piece of foam too. I filled the gap, and the reason I filled the gap is because I will cut this with a wire cutter or a foam cutter. And if you know how to make your own wire cutter or hot wire cutter or foam cutter, call it as you want. The wind just put my phone on the ground. So if you want to know how to build it, just click in the link in the top right corner and you will be redirected on the video on how to build one. So what I was saying about that curve or that filling is, I will take my wire cutter, I will make a pattern, put that on the top and on the bottom, and I will cut the curve as thin as big here, going as thin as possible until reaching almost nothing, maybe half an inch of foam at the front. So I have the cone effect or the funnel effect from the rear to the front. This will make the cockpit look lower, which will be a good thing, because when it was only on bare wood, it was more looking like a coffin than like a cockpit. So by making the cockpit wider, it will obviously look lower or thinner. So yeah, I will take my wire cutter. Obviously this section will be thicker than that. I figure about 12-inch on each side for the air intake and all the side pod. And what I will do, because if I add 24 inches to the cockpit, it won't get through any door at all, and I obviously need to put it back in the basement so I can drive it or race with it. So what I will do is, now that this section of foam will be strong on each side, I will start building my side pod, and when the sculpting will be finished, I will cut the side pod about maybe 1 inch, 1.5 inches from the wood. So this way I will make some kind of hook, so when I will move it, it will be easier to move it without breaking anything or scratching or damaging anything, just by removing the 2 side pod and the headrest as well. Since my headrest will go probably 1 inch or 1.5 inches out from the wood, I will try to make the gap of the side pod under the headrest, so the gap will be hidden. So it is the goal. In the picture, you can see that I am adding more foam and more foam. It was a slow process since the glue has a 24 hours curing time. So basically, I was allowed to stick only 1 panel of foam on each side every day. Here you can see that I reached the size or the width that I was looking for, which is 14 inches each side for a total of 50 inches wide. And to cut the side pod at the desired shape, I start by cutting the shape of my cockpit in a piece of wood, so it was way easier with the wire cutter to follow the wood and make the right shape for my side pods. Oh guys, now the primer is done. I just did the last part, the left side bud. Everything else is drying out outside. I know it looked like a rough job, but it's not very important how clean is this coat of primer, because it's only to seal the styrofoam so it doesn't melt with the resin. Turn on the light. So now some parts are already dried, so I'm ready to test the fiberglass again and see if the primer has a better resistance to the resin, but my guess is it will do the job just fine. The good news is the primer do a good job. The resin doesn't get through, so it doesn't melt the foam anymore. This is it for now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you will be notified as soon as I will release the next step of the construction as well as the final product. So see you later, guys.